Hey science fan! Ever wondered how scientists figure out what's in your food? Or in the medicine? Or even that mysterious liquid you spilled on your desk? So let me introduce you to the superhero of science, high performance liquid chromatography, or in short, HPLC. Sounds fancy, right? But don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's just super smart machine. So how does it work? So basically, it separates stuff from a compound. So imagine you have a pizza. So that's delicious, right? So this HPLC job is to pick up all of these ingredients one by one, separating all of this topping from your pizza. So it takes all of this component and with some of a magic chemistry, it separates them into their own little piles so we can see exactly what's inside. So how about GC? What is the differences between GC and HPLC? So let's start with HPLC. Imagine you have a delicious soup and you want to separate them, the vegetables, the meat and the broth. So HPLC is your slow, meticulous chef who's all about precision. Now, how about GC? GC is your race car driver. It doesn't mess around. It's fast, slick, and built for speed. You've got a volatile sample like gases or liquid that easily evaporate. So that's GC. Thank you.
So, HPLC is based on the principle of chromatography, which separates compounds based on their interactions with two phases. The stationary phase, a solid material inside the column, and the mobile phase, a liquid that moves through the column. When a sample is injected, the mobile phase is carried into the column. Inside the column, the sample components interact with the stationary phase differently. Some molecules stick to the stationary phase longer because of stronger interactions like polarity or size. Others move through faster because they don't interact as much. As the components travel through the column, they separate based on how long they take to exit. That is called their retention time, the time a component spends in the column before being detected. Each component that is detected as it exits creates a peak on the chromatogram. The position of the peak tells us what the component is, and the size of the peak shows us how much of it is present.
So there are many components in the HPLC system. One of them being is the solvent reservoir. Solvent reservoir is a container that holds the mobile phase that is used to transport the sample through the HPLC system to interact with the stationary phase. The role is very critical in maintaining the consistent flow, the separation, and also the analysis. HPLC has two mobile phases, one being water and the other being organic solvent. The composition of the mobile phase is very important because it determines the separation efficiency and also the selectivity. Mobile phase should be also be pure, low viscosity, chemically inert, low price, and also compatible with the detector. There are two elution techniques when it comes to mobile phase: isocratic and also the gradient. Isocratic is water is the main mobile phase, while gradient, water is mixed with organic solvent to improve elutions. For the second component of the HPLC system is the pump. The pump is used to maintain the constant flow of the mobile phase through the tightly packed column in the system by providing a high pressure up to 6,000 psi. Also, remember the gradient elution process that I mentioned before. It happens so that the pump is responsible for enabling this process. So the third component of the HPLC system is the injector. The injector introduces the sample into the flow of the mobile phase. It ensures that the sample reaches the column for separation without disruption of the flow. There are two types of injector. The first one is manual injector. This type of injector is operated by the user using a syringe. The sample is loaded into a sample loop and then manually switched into the flow path using a rotary valve. So the second one is called the auto sampler. This injector automatically introduces the samples from vials or plates into the HPLC systems. This enables high throughput analysis, improved reproducibility, and unattended operation. This injector is widely used in modern HPLC systems.
Next, we have column. The column is like the heart of the HPLC system. It is where the separation of the components in the sample occur based on their interaction with the stationary phase and mobile phase. It is made out of stainless steel or sometimes polymer designed to withstand high pressure. It is packed with stationary phase material which could be silica gel or chemically modified silica gel. How does column work, you might ask? Well, the stationary phase inside the column interacts differently with each analyte in the sample, causing them to move through the column at varying rates. The differential movement leads to separation of the components. After that, we have detector. The detector is used for identifying and quantifying analytes that were emitted by the column. It monitors the mobile phase and detects any changes caused by the analytes. These changes return into a signal for data processing. We have 4 types of detectors. One of it being UV visible detector, which measures absorbance of analytes at specific wavelengths. Next, we have refractive index detector. It detects changes in refractive index between the mobile phase and analytes. Next, we have fluorescence detector. It detects compounds that fluoresce under specific wavelengths of light. Lastly, we have mass spectrometer. It identifies and quantifies components based on their mass to charge ratio. And the final component for HPLC is the data system, which functions as the HPLC system control center. It also functions as the system processing unit by converting raw electronic signals from the detector into a readable chromatograph. Furthermore, it is used for chromatographic analysis, such as calculating retention times, which identify components, and peak areas, which measure component concentration, all while generating reports.
So now we are entering the applications of HPLC. So the first one is environmental analysis. The example is water quality testing. So the function is to ensure that the water is safe for consumption, industry, and also environment. HPLC can detect a wide range of contaminants that may be harmful for human health or the environment. It is employed in identifying and quantifying pesticide and herbicide water sources which can contaminate drinking water and also aquatic ecosystems. Its high sensitivity and ability to analyze complex water samples makes it an essential tool for safeguarding water resource. The second one is hydrocarbon analysis. The example is gasoline and diesel fuels. HPLC is used to analyze the compositions of fuels, particularly the distributions of hydrocarbon species such as alkanes, cycloalkanes, and also aromatic. The analysis of these compounds helps to ensure that the fuel formations meet regulatory standards for emissions, performance, and also combustion properties.
The third one is toxicology. HPLC is used for detecting and quantifying harmful substances in biological samples like blood or urine. It is widely used for drug monitoring, poison detection, and forensic investigation to ensure accurate results in critical scenarios. Next is food industry. HPLC helps to ensure food safety and quality by analyzing food additives like vitamin, preservative, and colorants in food products. This helps meet regulatory standards and protect consumer health. And lastly, cosmetic industry. HPLC is used to test for contaminants to ensure the correct concentration of active ingredients like retinol and measure preservative to maintain product safety.
So, in conclusion, HPLC might sound like some high-tech wizardry at first, but it's actually just a fancy tool that separates, analyze, and identify a compound in a sample. With its trustworthy component like solvent, pump, injector, and the detector, HPLC is the ultimate chemical detective, sorting out from good guys from the bad, one peak at a time.